Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Arjun Rai. I have a 14 years experience in full stack development. Currently, I am working as a full stack developer in a top MNC company. Please do like and subscribe my channel. Now let's begin.
So today we are going to learn React state and props in depth. We are also using object and array destruction features also in this video. We have created separate video for object and array destruction. You can check out those video. So now let's begin. So now we are going to define state variable inside any React functional component. So for doing this, we have to use state from React library. So using this library function, we can define any state variable in any functional component. So now let's begin. So now we are going to define one integer state variable in any functional component. So what is the syntax we have to follow? First, we have to write const, then the array destructuring syntax or notation equal to, on the right hand side, we have to call react.useState function. Then we can define initial value for this state variable. For our example, we are defined 0 as initial value. In array destructuring on the left hand side say notation, we have to define one variable for this state variable. So we are define counter for this. Counter is the variable name for state variable, and then the second parameter, second array destructuring variable will be the function. In the we are using this function to update this state variable. So what is the syntax? This syntax is based on the camel case. First we have to define set keyword, then capital word of the variable name, counter, first letter will be the capital. So this is the full syntax for define integer state variable. So we can print this state variable using p keyword. So in this case, state variable. So what is the value? Counter c, counter state variable value. And what is how to print out this value in UI? We have to define second bracket notation, then the variable name counter. So in this way, we can define the state variable. Also we can print out the state variable. Let's check out the example. So in this example we have given the 0 for the counter variable initial value, and that value is printed out. Now the next question is that is how to update this state variable. Is there any way to update this state variable? Because we have already rendered this variable in the UI, but we need to update this variable. So how to do this? So we have already defined one button. So and already we have also defined one button event handler. Means if anyone click on the button, on this button, this event handler function will be automatically called on click event handler. So inside of this function button event handler, we can call this set counter function to update our counter variable. So let's do it. So now we have changed the button text to update counter, and now we have to call the set counter function to update the counter variable. You can check that these two variable, that is one is variable and another is the function variable. So these are already const, means you cannot change this variable. So first we have to store the variable using let temp equal to counter. First we have to store it in our temporary variable, then the temp equal to plus equal to 1, then we have to call the set counter function, and inside the set counter function parameter we have to given the temp variable. So now let's check. So first initially this counter state variable initial value is 0, then we have to click update, then you can check that value is increasing, then we can click update counter second time it is 2. You can continuously click this function to check that variable value is counter state variable value is always increasing. So this is the example, simple example of state variable inside any functional component. But there is one another way we can remove this temp variable using this temp variable to update this counter variable. There is another example we have to use. That is, we can call set counter function, and inside this function there is one function. We have to provide the current state variable function as a parameter, and inside the arrow function return value will be the counter plus 1. So this is a short syntax for the update state variable. So you can pass any value or any arrow function parameter to this set counter function parameter. If we pass any uh, arrow function, we have to define one parameter is the current state variable. Then we have to then we have to return the latest uh, counter variable value as a return value. So in this way, state counter variable, state counter function will update the state variable. Now let's check. So right now its value is 7. So you can check that it's always increasing the same way. So this is a shorter syntax and it is useful. We have to use this format actually always. Now let's define many type of state variable inside the function component. First, we have defined the integer type of state variable. You can define also Boolean type like is check, then the set is check. So this is we are going to use Boolean. Initial value will be the false. Then we can define string variable also. Initial value will be the so we are all we are defining the one string state variable, one boolean variable. So first we have to render it on the screen. The similar way we are doing is check state variable value. So now let's check. So first name is Arjun. Is check is a boolean variable, so its value is not rendered in the UI screen. But now we are going to define complex React state variable, that is array and object. We have to define one array. Then we are going to define one test array and one function react dot use state, and inside the function parameter we are define initial value as this, and we can also define one object test object. So in this use state parameter we have defined one object. So in the this is the array, this is the array. So you can check that in this way we can also define complex data structure, that is array and object uh, as a React state variable. So now there is second question, how to render this value in UI. So we can also using p tag first test array state variable value. We can use JSON dot stringify function in the JavaScript, and we can pass test array as a parameter. It will just convert as a JSON for example purpose. And the second is test object. So you can check that. So value array is defined already pre-rendered in the screen. 1 2 3 is the initial value, and the object is name Archundai is printed on the screen. So in this way we can render this value on the UI. There is another way to render this screen. We'll learn in the next video. So now for update the array state variable inside any functional component, we have written complex statement, complex UI. We have defined one div element, and inside div there is one label element, and after that there is one input type of tag, then the button. You can check that. That is the label, that is the input, and this is the button. And there is two things change. There is input tag inside the input tag. There is one value parameter and one change. Means if user type anything value, this event handler will be called. And in the button, if any user click the button update array, then this on update array input function will be called. You can, and there is one value parameter. We have also created another state variable, that is array input, and this is the syntax. So inside the onChange array input, whenever any user type in the input field, this value will be the update. So in this parameter, this is the event. This is the event actually in React, and using this syntax e dot target value, we can get the current input value, and after we getting the value e dot target value, we can update this array input variable. After this, if any user click the update array button, then this variable, this array input will be the push to the test array, and this is the syntax. In this syntax, we have using spread operator to update the array type of state variable. So this is the main syntax. We have to pass the current test array as the input, and the return type in the array function return type. We have to define this array syntax, and first we have to define the test array using the spread operator. Means this is the initial, this is will be the current value, and this is the recent value that is user have been already input. So let's check. So right now we are going to update this value 56. You can check that there is 56 is updated in the array. So now we are going to update the object state variable in the similar way we have done in the array state variable. So we have created similar like of UI element on the screen, that is object input, one input tag, then the button update object. In the input tag we have initialized one internal state variable. We have created one object input as a string variable, and there is one event handler for this input tag. Also we have created also button event handler on update object input. So now whenever user input any new text to the input tag, so on change if object input will be called, and in this event handler now we have update the object input variable we have taken. So we have updated this current value. Then after this, if the user click the update object, then this function will be called the set test object. This is the object internal state variable. In this is the syntax. We have to follow this syntax for update any state object variable. So first we have to given the test object, that is current variable, using the spread operator. Means it will just destructure the current object variable, current object state variable, then we have to update the field. That is, we are going to update the name. So with the current object input, this is our internal, one of the internal state variable. So let's, now the name variable is assigned to Archundai. We are going to update the variable test try. So now you can check that this value is changing. We can also define any value wast name. So you can check that this, in this way we can update the object state variable inside any React functional component. So that's it.